Hi. Say, I just tried to make one of these and I did, and I talked a lot, and then I went to go post it and I hit delete and it got eliminated forever. So I'm going to try to do this again. I'm going to try to condense it down and really get to the point and try to get this as short as possible. Facebook has become a very, very negative place over the last few months. Maybe you have felt that, maybe you've seen it, but if you're anything like me, it seems like every single day it keeps getting more negative, filled with more experts that have never been experts before about things like the coronavirus and when schools should start or not start, even though they've never been a hospital administrator, even though they've never been a superintendent, even though they've never been on the front line. Everybody seems like they have their opinions, and the truth is your opinion and my opinion might completely differ. We have a lot of things that make us different, from as something as silly as the color of our hair to as divisive as how we vote, right? There's a lot of things that make us different, and Facebook is becoming a place where that is what we focus on. And our world in general seems like we take all of our differences and we point them out, and then we use those differences to divide us. And truthfully, when you go back a few steps and you ask some of the bigger questions of what do we really stand for and what do we really believe, I think we have way more in common than we sort of think. Like if I were to say, how many of you are nervous or frustrated or scared about what's gone on over the last 4 months and where we're headed over the next 4 months from here, my guess is most of us would raise our hand. If I were to ask how many of you at the end of all of this, whenever it is, like as we get past the season of Corona or COVID-19, how many of you would want to live in a world that is kinder, more civil, a world that is more equal for everybody from any walk of life, that anybody gets a fair shake at this thing called life, that at success? My guess is, if I were to say how many of you believe in that or can adhere to that, you would raise your hand. So on the big things, I think we have to remember that we're on the same team. We are wearing the same jersey. And although we might have lots of different opinions on how we get to whatever it is, we're striving for, I think along the way we all need right now, especially a dose of humility and a dose of grace. Your opinions, no matter how much you are, how passionate you are about them, like your opinions are just that, opinions. And the problem is when our opinions, which we can have and we can share and we can shout from the rooftops, but the problem is when our opinions have somewhere along the way morphed into a fact. Some people believe that their opinion is not an opinion, it's a fact, which means it's indisputable, which means they're right and then I'm wrong. What's the point of even listening at that point? My wife and I, we spent time in London, and we were studying abroad in college, and there was, I remember the small park, or maybe it was a big park, can't remember, there's a small park within a big park called Speaker's Corner. And one day a week, people would come down and they would set up their ladders or their soapboxes, and they would stand on their ladders and they would shout out their opinion to whatever it is that was on their mind and on their heart, whatever was, the issue at the time. And people would gather around and they would listen and they would ask questions, and there would be sort of this back and forth. And I feel like what's happening right now in our country and in our world, specifically on this platform, is everybody's coming out to Speaker's Corner. Everyone's bringing their ladder. Everybody's shouting their opinions, but nobody's asking questions, and certainly nobody's listening. And at best, this is ineffective. If we believe in an opinion and we believe we are right, or we believe that this opinion is the exact right thing, how ineffective is it to just tell other people how wrong they are? I believe we should be wearing masks. I believe in the science. I believe we should be social distancing. And at the same time, I think it's completely ineffective if I go online and tell everybody how stupid they are for not believing in what I believe. That's just one example amongst many. I believe when we just shout all day long and we don't listen, it's ineffective at best, and at worst, it has real negative repercussions. Like all this negativity, all of this people coming up and yelling their facts from their tall ladders and shouting it out, it has real world repercussions on people. Like I've met so many administrators, principals, superintendents who for the last 4 months have been working 80 hours a week, trying to come up with plans that are going to be the most effective, not just for your kid, but for my kid, for their kids, for their custodian team's kids, for their lunch crew, for their teachers. They are thinking about so many things, and they are spending so much time on everything that they're doing. And my fear is all they are hearing when they go out in the social media world or even in public is all the negative. Everybody who's telling them what a bad person or a bad choice they are making for deciding whatever it is that they decide. And I think at the end of the day, we have to remember that again, all of that takes a toll on someone's mind, on someone's heart. I worry about the mental health of the decision makers in our school systems and in our hospitals. I worry that the negative narrative that so many people are adding to every single day is going to take a toll. I think every day we tell our kids as adults, be respectful with your words, be kind, be open-minded, don't be impulsive. Listen to the other side of the opinion. Maybe, just maybe, you might find a friend or somebody that is closer to you than you would have ever thought, but you have to give them the opportunity. And right now, we're not doing that. Right now, all we're doing is shouting with no grace and no humility. And so I think it's time for all of us to take a step back, slow down, and really ask ourselves, how are we showing up in this world? How are we adding our opinion to the narrative? Is it from I've got it all figured out, it's a fact, I'm right, you're wrong? Or is it, here's where I'm coming from, but I really want to hear where you're coming from, because probably the solution is somewhere in between. The truth is, we are going through unprecedented times right now. There is no manual. There is no playbook. There is no what have we done in the past that have worked well. So anybody who thinks they have it all figured out needs just to chill, step back a little bit, and realize that we're all going through this for the first time. And I believe if you have 3 minutes to go online and to write a disparaging remark about your school administrator or a hospital official, if you have 3 minutes to go online to comment on other people's posts, especially only the ones that believe in the things you do, and tell everybody else how wrong for not believing in what you do, if you have 3 minutes to do that, you also have 3 minutes to take the time to find your teacher's email address or your school leader's email address and just say, hey, listen, at the end of the day, we might have different opinions on where all this goes, but I just want to say thanks for being a leader during these incredibly tumultuous times. I can't imagine how much you are thinking about and how much this is weighing on your heart and your mind. I just want you to know that we appreciate you and we trust you. Man, if an administrator received that email, you know how far that would go, and all of us have the time, the energy, and we have the ability to do that. So at the end of the day, it comes down to a choice. How are you using your energies? Are you using it to make our world a more united place, or are you using it to divide? That's a choice at the end of the day, and I believe that that choice matters, and it really has an impact on the people, especially those who are having to make these really challenging decisions in the process. So I said that was going to be the summary, the recap. That got to be a little bit long, so I apologize about that. If you're a teacher, you're an administrator, if you're a hospital worker, if you're anybody who's having to make these really, really challenging decisions right now, especially educators, my sister's an educator, I just want to say that we see you, we love you, we support you, we trust you, and we are going to get through this. At the end of the day, when we get through this, we have to remember that we're going to get through it together, and we're going to be better together at the end of it all. So let's stay united, y'all. You're awesome. Have a great day. Peace out. Love your faces. Bye-bye.